Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bianca, and today I am joined by a lady who at some point would need no introduction, but you know what? Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Amanda Kua and I am Bianca's friend. Outside of being
Mhm.
Bianca's friend, I'm also the founder of BackScoop. We're a media company focused on Southeast Asian startups and tech. We started with a newsletter that made it fun and easy to stay updated with Southeast Asian startups and tech in just minutes for free. We grew to a podcast as well, and we're also experimenting with other forms of content.
Okay, we're just gonna be upfront of the fact that you're still a pretty young girl. I mean, for some context, because I'm 24 years old, you're 21, and the last time when you shared your story, you basically talked about how you started BackScoop back when you were, I think, 19, was it?
Yeah.
At the point in time, you actually had some offers from pretty top universities.
Yeah, well, this is not the first time I'm on Bianca's YouTube channel. I'm now honored to be here like a second time. So I guess I could share. I started working in tech when I was 18 years old because I took a gap year instead of going to university just because it was COVID and I didn't want to go to school online. In that gap year, I ended up working at a startup here in the Philippines, here in Southeast Asia. And there I realized that there was no easy way to stay updated with Southeast Asian tech news. It was just really difficult. So I thought, why can't there be a better solution? And my second year rolled over and I realized that it's going to be my second gap year. Should I take it? Should I not? It's still COVID, so I might as well take it. And maybe I should pursue something even more risky than just working at a startup. So I decided to go back to the problem I was experiencing and wanted to build my own solution for it. And I guess here I am.
Honestly, I'm really proud of you. Even since the last time we spoke, I'm fairly confident that it was even like less than a year since the previous recording. And that kind of brings me to also consider you literally could have had a university degree by now.
Yeah.
Like, I think you told me that some of your friends are even pursuing their master's degree right now as we speak.
Yes, some of them are. And they're either joining the workforce or getting a master's degree.
Yeah. I think I'd like to throw maybe a bit of a personal question to you, if you don't mind. Of all the different things that you could have done during a gap year, why did you choose to create content? Like, I guess I understand some of the popular reasons. Well, it may not be yours, but typical reasons would be things like it offers a lot of autonomy and flexibility, and in the long term, hopefully it becomes a income stream. But is there also maybe a deeper reason to picking this specific niche?
Well, I just wanted to start my own business during my second gap year, and I wanted to solve that problem. And the easiest way I thought I could effectively solve that problem would be to start a newsletter on Southeast Asian startups and tech. And I wasn't going to hire someone because I just had the savings from my first job as my only startup capital. So I decided to write it on my own. So I don't think I started creating content for the usual reasons of creativity, self-expression, autonomy, blah, 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 blah. It was really more of like a means to an end. I needed to build a product. And the only way to build that product is if I became the content creator myself. But that being said, I think I really fell in love with creating content. And I realized that I've always liked writing. So I think it just something that sort of woke up inside me. And now I see it for the same reasons. It allows me to express my creativity. It allows me to learn more things, think deeper, and learn a lot and get a lot more exposure to more people, because when I create content, people see it and they reach out to me. I guess I also have become a thought leader in the tech space and got to build not just my company's brand, but also my personal brand, because I was the one creating all the content at the beginning. And then later I started creating content on LinkedIn too.
I would say I definitely resonate a lot with you on many of those points. Personally, I started YouTube for a myriad of reasons. Long term, I would be very upfront with the fact that it is a form of income stream. Like, I am one of those people who you can kind of say drank the Kool-Aid of hoping to build multiple streams of income. But I guess over time, as you said, for some reason, it became an interesting platform for, I guess, the both of us to express ourselves in a way that we hope can provide value to others as well.
Right. The more meaningful view for me was that people wanted the content, people needed it at times as well, and people appreciated it. So it became more of doing it for others, and I really like that.
That kind of brings me to consider, when you started out and the fact that you were 18 or 19 at that point of time, did you experience any self-doubt or fear?
Well, for me, I definitely felt like a lot of self-doubt because I was somebody who was 19. I only had 1 year of job experience, only 1 year of working in the tech ecosystem. So it's like, who are you to even tell us the news? I thought people would think about like that. Like, who is this girl who doesn't even have a college degree, who only has like a year of job experience at like a startup? Who is she to tell us the news? How is she credible? Why should we read it? Why should we follow it? Why should we support it? So I thought about those things for the first 4 months of BackScoop. I actually didn't write about BackScoop at all on my personal social media. Unless like you were a family friend or on like my Facebook, you would have seen it. But like let's say on LinkedIn, on like really more public spaces outside of my personal network, you would have never known I started BackScoop. And even on my personal page, I only post about once each. So yeah, I think having another name, like having the company name like BackScoop, having the platform being a newsletter where my face is nowhere there, I think I was able to more like dispel the fear or at least fight it a little more just because I wasn't using my own name and face attached to the content.
I think that's actually quite a smart way because, yeah, in terms of sharing useful content out there, let's just say you find yourself to be extremely camera shy, no matter how much you have attempted to record yourself. It's actually quite smart to just come up with a certain brand name for your channel or your product. But considering now you do associate yourself with BackScoop, how did you eventually overcome the internal discomfort of filming yourself and putting your face out there?
I think the fear of being known and the fear of like being in the public was something that I was able to fight more when I had more subscribers. And I got to meet them. I got to, realize that they're not scary. They're all really nice. And most of all, they really like my content. At some point, some of them even told me like, you should write about yourself and your story. And I was like, oh, I never thought anyone would care about me. I thought like if I shared more about myself, people would unsubscribe or nobody wants to subscribe.
In terms of that point, I would definitely second that because, at least for YouTube, one of my biggest fears back then, before I started out, was the comment section of YouTube. So for that reason, I never dared to post my first video. But I guess eventually, when I started to see some people in real life, whether it's someone that I bump into an event or someone who literally reached out to me on other social media handles, and I realized, oh, hey, there are actually people who are watching it. And as you said, 99% of people are actually nice. If anything, like keyboard warriors, in terms of the mean ones, tend to be 1% of all the viewers out there.
Yeah. Maybe it's even smaller, right? Like 0.0001.
Yeah, actually, that is true. Upon realizing that fact, it personally also helped me to just get over that fear of putting yourself out there. I mean, now that I think about it, another area I wonder if you have come across would be haters, but with perhaps a bit more of a legitimate or valid reason. So I'm not saying that you have done this before, but let's just say you post up content that was actually incorrect by accident, like completely unintentional. How have you dealt with such situations where people start to disagree with you?
If I posted something incorrect or if somebody disagreed with me, the way I would combat it would really be about not fighting with them. I think like if you were wrong and they were angrily saying like, hey, you're wrong, blah, 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 I would just say like, thank you for pointing it out. You might feel bad, but at the end of the day, I think the bigger picture thing is like, you were wrong, right? If you were really wrong, then just fix it.
Yeah, simple as that. I had one video where I vlogged myself in Switzerland and I actually got the capital city wrong, like factually. And somebody pointed out that in the comment section. And as you said, just take responsibility for that. Thank them for pointing it out. And you learn something new at the end of the day. And hopefully you won't repeat the mistake.
Yeah, I think it's good that people were even engaged enough to care about, pointing it out, right? They were noticing your video, they're noticing your content.
Exactly. It's like they actually took time to watch your video or read your article to the point where a mistake is made and they point it out. So actually people are engaging with your content. So it's a good thing.
And I think it also depends on like the content you create. There are certain fields or certain ways of creating content where you might get a disproportionate amount of people who might disagree with you. But in that form of content, then you'll have more true fans because you're really ascribing to one, area of thought.
Yeah, sometimes you make mistakes, but at the end of the day, if they are true fans, people will stick with you. And
Yeah.
of course, let's just say if you really want to minimize the number of hate comments out there, then yeah, the type of content does matter. So don't post something that's overly controversial, or in some way you are kind of just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Now to shift gears a bit, I was kind of curious to hear any key tips or advice that you might have for anyone out there who is trying to just create content. Like it doesn't matter if it's YouTube, TikTok, or a newsletter, or even a blog post.
I think like if you're choosing what kind of content to create, you either have to write about something you're highly experienced in and knowledgeable about, or just pick something you're extremely interested in. You don't have to be knowledgeable about it, but you have to be extremely interested and dedicated at it. And I think it'll create like two forms of content. So for example, if you're really experienced in the field, you have a lot of insights other people don't have, then you can have a really super high quality, in-depth kind of content with information you might not get elsewhere. Meanwhile, the other kind of person, you might not know that much, but then you'll be great at doing like how-tos or introductions or explaining things very simply. So I think some people feel like they can create content because they're not an expert in a field. What I'm just saying is that if you're an expert in a field and you want to create content about that, then that's great. You'll have a leg up. But just because you're not an expert at something doesn't mean you can't talk about it. If you're super interested in it, then you can also create content about it as well.
The whole point of this content creation journey is that you as the creator would hopefully evolve and grow over time. We see a lot of people who undergo such a transformation. Like if you're not embarrassed by yourself a year ago, or in some cases 6 months ago, you probably haven't grown enough. So actually, this is a net positive journey.
Exactly.
I think the key point, as you mentioned, is to just not give up easily. Try to just create a certain number of content, whether it's videos or articles, before you choose to give up. Who knows, you would have actually have grown and realized, oh, hey, I think I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if I were just starting out now, I would also like pick a cadence that I know I can commit to and really stick to it. At the beginning of BackScoop, I was just doing it once a week. And then at some point, I ramped it up 2 times a week, then 3 times a week, then 4 times a week. And I really stayed accountable to it. The only time I didn't publish, I think, was when I had COVID. And even days when I still had COVID and I was still publishing at least like a certain version of the news that I was still publishing something. So I think like if you're starting out, pick just one platform, any platform that you think it's easy to create content on personally, because everyone has their own style. Like some people love video more than writing. Some people like writing more than video. And then 2, pick a cadence that would fit you and your lifestyle. If you have like a full-time job and like 3 kids, I don't know if it's possible to create like 3 YouTube videos a week. Maybe it's possible. That's great. But don't give yourself goals that are too high. Like if I have school and a full-time job and I want to create content, I wouldn't tell myself to make 5 TikToks a week or 3 TikToks a week. I would do like 1.
And of course, at the end of the day, just don't compare yourself. I mean, okay, just objectively, numbers-wise, Amanda is arguably so much more successful than me. But does it mean that I should just give up and stop?
Yeah,
No, it doesn't have to. And in fact, we still learn a lot from each other. And I got a friend.
Yeah.
I just also want to take this time to remind everybody that, hey, you know, me and Amanda, we are content creators, but we're also human beings as well. We probably have felt the same doubts and emotions as you, but the only difference is that we just did it anyway, if anything.
Just kept going. I was embarrassed sometimes when I made mistakes. One time I published like 2 hours too late, but I still kept going, right? So just keep going, no matter what mistakes you have, no matter what setbacks you have. And then at some point you look back and be like, wow, I did so much. It might not look like that much at that point in time, but when you look back, I don't think you'll ever regret creating.
Yeah, I definitely don't regret it. I wouldn't say that, oh, I wish I could have started YouTube earlier, because I think I started it at the right timing. I'm just grateful that I started it anyway. And I'm pretty sure you felt the same when it comes to BackScoop as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad I just started it then. I wish I started earlier, but I don't know what form it would have been anyway. So I'm just glad when I did. And you know, like the new year is coming around, so whoever's listening, it can be part of your New Year's resolution to create content.
Indeed. So thank you everyone for taking the time to watch my video. I mean, if you enjoyed it, Amanda, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.
Comment.
Yeah, comment. it helps. But I mean, no pressure also. So thank you and have a nice day ahead, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.